But I'm here to tell you, dog, Kelsey Mitchell has been exposed, and I'm going to share some information with y'all that is very, very concerning. Yes, this is major concerning. I believe she's ruining the 2026 season. And y'all keep like, John, how is that? She's averaging like 30 points a game. She's making her. I don't give a damn about none of that. With what I'm about to show you guys, everybody is going to be talking about this. Now, we all know last night the Indiana Fever lost to the Dallas Wings. That should come as no surprise.
The locker room door slammed shut, and head coach Stephanie White stood completely paralyzed in disbelief. Kelsey Mitchell had just made an unspoken business decision on the hardwood, and it completely dismantled the Indiana Fever's entire 2026 season blueprint. What went down during the crushing loss against the Dallas Wings was not merely bad execution or a cold shooting slump. It was a cold-blooded, on-court betrayal that completely iced out Caitlin Clark from running the show.
Caitlin Clark to put discourse along the side of the rim protection part. And I have to be honest, Aaliyah Boston sabotaged the team too. Like Aaliyah Boston single-handedly caused them to lose this game as well. And to me, what I seen in last night's game had me wondering what I didn't want to wonder. And that is Aaliyah Boston is BSing with Caitlin. Now, we all know Caitlin Clark was allegedly cool with Aaliyah Boston. You know, they do the little hug before the game. But last year, they was hanging out. They was doing TikToks. And this year, it ain't been no TikToks with Aaliyah Boston.
The entire basketball world watched Dallas execute an aggressive defensive trap, but the real sabotage was coming from inside the Fever roster. Mitchell decided to hijack the offensive engine, abandoning the motion sets designed to maximize generational spacing. Instead of feeding the fastest break in the league, Mitchell reverted straight to isolated hero ball, dribbling out the shot clock while Clark stood stranded on the wing. Insiders quickly noticed the complete breakdown in real-time trust.
You know, they do the little hug before the game. But last year, they was hanging out. They was doing TikToks. And this year, it ain't been no TikToks with Aaliyah Boston. Or did I miss it? Because I don't believe I've seen any. I seen Caitlin with Lexi, Sophie, and that's it. Lexi and Sophie. I haven't seen her with Aaliyah Boston. She damn sure don't rock out with Kelsey Mitchell outside of the court, because I ain't never seen them two hang out. But I'm not finna talk y'all ear off. Let me pull up my evidence and show you guys something. And make sure you guys like this video, hype this video, because I'm pretty sure this is the first time.
Stephanie White's game plan was supposed to center entirely around high pick and roll fluidity and rapid ball movement. Instead, Mitchell completely ignored Clark's calls for the rock, opting to force heavily contested drives into crowded lanes. The coaching staff stood dumbfounded on the sidelines as their primary offensive scheme dissolved into total chaos. The dynamic between the backcourt stars looked fractured beyond repair, and White knew her grand vision was falling apart.
Break this down, what you guys are seeing here. Shout out to Coach Anderson. Said interesting. So when Kelsey Mitchell scored over 30, we are 2-4 as a team. And when Caitlin does it, we are 3-1. That's because Caitlin is a floor raiser, but Stephanie White decided to build the offense for Kelsey more than Caitlin's strength, where the F is the pick and roll. Now, there was a play, I'm not going to play the play, where Aaliyah Boston didn't set the pick for Caitlin Clark. She just...
The post-game stat sheet revealed a mathematical reality so damning that analysts could not look away. Kelsey Mitchell's 30-point scoring explosions are directly correlating with Indiana Fever losses, leaving the team at a miserable 2-4 record whenever she goes off. When Caitlin Clark puts up 30+, the Fever dominate at 3-1. Mitchell's high-volume scoring is actively suffocating the team's rhythm, producing empty numbers that destroy winning basketball.
It's interesting. Every player with more than 30 points a game this season and their teams recorded in those games. A'ja Wilson, 11 games plus 30, their team 8-3. Marina Marbury, she had 6, her team 4-2. Kelsey Mitchell have 6, and the Fever is 2-4. Caitlin Clark has 4, and the Fever is 3-1. Breanna Stewart skipped over her. They 4-0 when she scored over 30. Kalia Copper 4. Her team 2-2, and everybody else is undefeated when they score over 30.
Across the entire WNBA, every single superstar who drops 30 points consistently delivers victories for their franchise. Top-tier leaders like Breanna Stewart and Kalia Copper carry their squads to dominant records whenever they reach that elite threshold. Mitchell stands as the lone anomaly in the modern era whose high-scoring nights actively sink her own team. She is posting career scoring numbers while Indiana's win percentage plummets straight into the basement.
So why is it the Fever record is worse when Kelsey Mitchell scores over 30? Scores over 30. What is this here? Caitlin Clark 2026 splits versus current top 8 teams versus bottom 7 teams through August 20th through the 26th. Stat gains 18. Her bottom is 15. Record is 8-10. 12-3 on the bottom 7. Points 19. Bottom 7 24. Rebounds 3. Bottom 7 4. You guys see a trend here?
The fundamental problem lies in how Mitchell generates those points, effectively freezing the perimeter and draining the shot clock. Clark requires high-tempo transition play, rapid secondary touches, and rhythmic spacing to unlock her iconic logo range. When Mitchell enters pure dribble mode, Clark completely falls out of sync, turning the most lethal shooter in the game into an idle spectator. The offense stagnates, the spacing dies, and opponents feast on the predictable isolation sets.
Off Mitchell always right there with her. Y'all so Lulu, y'all don't have common sense. What? When Kelsey is scoring that much, she disrupts the offense flow because she's in dribble the print off the ball mode. You can see how frustrated Caitlin is when Kelsey takes her out of the games. Exactly, guys. When Kelsey goes into these modes, with these 30-plus game modes, she eliminates Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is a rhythmatic player. She cannot score if she do not get in rhythm. With no rhythm, that means no.
Stephanie White now faces an excruciating tactical dilemma that threatens to derail her head coaching tenure before it even takes off. The front office brought White in to build a modern powerhouse around Clark's transcendent vision. Yet, on the floor, Mitchell's rogue play style is completely hijacking the playbook and defying the staff's core philosophies. White watched her system get hijacked in real time, and the internal tension inside the building has reached a boiling point.
Does a higher scoring offense. Somebody said, whoa, and notice that Kelsey Mitchell chart is the only one on there where her scoring a lot has more losses. Every other team, damn, I didn't even notice that. Every other team wins when their star does well. What does that tell you about Kelsey Mitchell ball hall, stat pad, hero ball? And it couldn't be more obvious. Fire Stephanie White. Fire Stephanie White. This is shocking, bro. This type of information right here is shocking, guys. This is very concerning if you're an Indiana Fever fan. I just have to be honest. Look at this.
Sharp-eyed fans and analysts are uncovering an even deeper divide inside the Indiana locker room that goes beyond the backcourt. Aaliyah Boston's on-court chemistry with Clark has visibly deteriorated compared to previous campaigns. During a critical fourth-quarter sequence against Dallas, Boston completely blew an essential screen assignment, allowing Odyssey Sims to blast through unimpeded and collide directly into Clark on a drive. Off the floor, the stark social divide between the players has become impossible for fans to ignore. During Clark's rookie season, Boston and Clark were constantly filming social media videos together and celebrating post-game moments. This season, that visible warmth has completely vanished into thin air, replaced by cold corporate distance. Clark is now exclusively seen spending downtime with Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham, completely isolated from Boston and Mitchell. The total absence of off-court camaraderie between Mitchell and Clark has translated into awkward, disjointed basketball during live action. Sources close to the team confirmed that the two guards possess zero personal connection outside scheduled team facilities. When adversity strikes on the court, they operate as two separate entities rather than a unified backcourt. That emotional disconnect is now bleeding heavily into crucial fourth-quarter possessions. A deep dive into Clark's performance splits reveals the collateral damage caused by Mitchell's ball dominance. Against bottom-tier teams, Clark dominates with 24 points per night while shooting over 56% from the floor. But against elite top-tier competition, where precise team execution is mandatory, Clark's production plummets to just 19 points. Mitchell's refusal to run structured sets leaves Clark stranded against playoff defenses. Mitchell's supporters argue that she remains remarkably consistent regardless of the opponent, putting up 19 points against top teams and 18 against bottom squads. But that consistency is deceptive because it comes at the direct expense of Indiana's franchise cornerstone. Mitchell gets her predetermined shot attempts, whether the team is up 20 or down 20. She gets hers while the team's overall offensive ceiling gets completely lowered. Whenever Mitchell dominates time of possession, the Fever's assist-to-turnover ratio drops to the lowest marks in the entire league. The fast break opportunities that made Indiana terrifying in transition have been replaced by slow, methodical half-court sets. Clark becomes visibly frustrated on the perimeter, waving her arms for cross-court passes that simply never arrive. The body language speaks louder than any post-game press conference ever could. The Dallas Wings explicitly built their entire defensive scouting report around Mitchell's unwillingness to pass out of double teams. They aggressively trapped Clark 40 feet from the basket, daring Mitchell to playmaker for the rest of the roster. Instead of distributing to open corner shooters, Mitchell repeatedly drove headfirst into rim protectors. The Wings happily gave up Mitchell's individual points because they successfully took Clark completely out of the game. Stephanie White's system requires absolute selflessness and rapid passing, concepts that appear completely foreign to Mitchell's instinctual game. Every time the ball hits Mitchell's hands, the ball movement stops, forcing other players into stationary roles. Clark's rhythm shooting relies on touching the ball early in possessions, not with 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Mitchell's inability to adapt is quietly sabotaging the entire roster's development. Insiders are already questioning how long front office leadership will allow this fractured dynamic to continue playing out on national television. Fans are sounding the alarm across social media, pointing out that Indiana's high-profile investment in Clark is being actively undermined. You cannot build a championship culture when your veteran guard plays pure hero ball while freezing out the face of women's basketball. The statistical contrast between a Clark-driven fast break and a Mitchell-led motion set is staggering across every metric. When Clark pushes tempo, Indiana generates significantly more high-quality corner threes and interior layups per possession. When Mitchell controls the pace, the offense grinds to a halt, generating low-efficiency mid-range pull-ups. The numbers prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Mitchell's approach directly harms the team. During late-game huddles against Dallas, White drew up specific sets designed to get Clark open off baseline stagger screens. Yet, once play resumed, Mitchell completely bypassed the initial action, calling her own number and driving into traffic. White was caught on camera holding her clipboard in stunned disbelief, witnessing her authority get directly challenged on the floor. The lack of tactical discipline was utterly shocking to the staff. Rival scouts around the WNBA have taken notice, openly admitting that defending Indiana is becoming significantly easier than anticipated. Opponents know that all they have to do is apply extreme pressure to Clark, and Mitchell will naturally hijack the offense and eliminate her own teammate. It has become the standard blueprint to defeat the Fever, and Indiana has yet to make the necessary tactical adjustments. The locker room energy after the Dallas collapse was described by insiders as cold, tense, and utterly suffocating. Clark quietly packed her bags and left the arena without addressing the lingering tactical questions from media members. Meanwhile, Mitchell's post-game demeanor showed zero recognition of the structural damage being done to the offense. The two stars appear to be heading in completely different directions, tearing the team apart. Stephanie White now sits in the hot seat, forced to make a franchise-defining decision before the season completely slips away. She must either assert total authority by benching Mitchell when she goes rogue or risk losing Clark's trust entirely. The front office did not hire White to manage individual scoring accolades. They hired her to construct a championship contender around Clark's unique generational playmaking. The harsh reality is that Mitchell's individual scoring bursts are masking the deeper dysfunction threatening to destroy Indiana's championship window. You simply cannot win championships when your veteran leader refuses to integrate with the team's most potent offensive weapon. The evidence is on film, the metrics are undeniable, and the on-court body language reveals a fractured core that is running out of time to fix itself. The 2026 season is hanging by a thread, and Stephanie White must decide whose franchise this truly is going forward. If Mitchell continues to prioritize her own numbers over Clark's rhythm, Indiana's title dreams will disintegrate into complete chaos. True greatness requires personal sacrifice for collective victory, and until Mitchell accepts that fundamental truth, the Indiana Fever will remain a deeply divided team fighting a war against itself.